So yeah, last time we were talking about just driving and helping out, and it just the fact that it was time for me to get a new car, and it feels kind of like a bummer. I love my minivan. I love the idea of minivans. They're so versatile, so I feel bad having to give one up. But I'm kind of looking forward. At the same time, I am kind of looking forward to the idea of moving on to a car. So and it might have something to do with the fact that at the time of this recording, okay, you don't want to fall from too high, but I remember there's water down there, so it's fun. At the time of this recording, I'm rewatching Initial D, which is probably making my wife incredibly nervous. But because of that, I've been going through it now, with the idea of having to go and get a car. I'm kind of, let me look at the map here. All right, so not bad. So we got 2 items down there, and then all the way down at the end is the boss. But yeah, so I'm kind of excited about the idea of getting a car, or something car adjacent, something a little bit smaller, even if it's a small wagon or something like that. But yeah, I'm watching Initial D, and just some of the stuff that those, I mean, obviously it's not exactly rooted in complete reality, but I remember I watched it when it first came out, and it was such a good show. I mean, it's even not being a car guy, it was easy to get into that show. Hey, it's my cat Sage. He likes to make appearances. Probably because he's bored. But yeah, it's to be honest, it's kind of one of the things that I really like about anime is that it's easy to get into whatever's going on with anime. Like, even if it's a weird scenario, one of the things that, obviously high schools are always a big theme, and it's always high school girls and high school drama and stuff like that. But one of the reasons that it works so well is because high school is a what would you call it, I don't know if microcosm is the right word. That's all right, I'm blabbing on. Hold on a second. But it's like a great, I think microcosm is the right word. It's a great representation of what a lot of your life can be. And I think that's why a lot of people, when they talk about doing it all over again, going through life and doing it all over again, I think a lot of the time high school is the it that they're talking about. I can't imagine people look at their life when they were 5 years old and think, oh, I made so many mistakes, I regret it all. Come on, you were 5 years old. You rode your big wheel the wrong way one time. It's probably nothing you need to regret. I think high school is a lot of regret for people. Oh, there was garbage there. I shot it down. Yeah. Oh, it's that one. Okay. But yeah, I think high school holds a lot of regret for people because high school was kind of your first idea of what life is going to be like. In grade school is a little bit like it, but you get a lot of leeway when it comes to the choices you make in grade school. It's easy for people to think about the choices you made when you're in 5th grade and say, oh yeah, hold on, ignition grenades. Oh no, wait, flash grenades. There we go. But yeah, it's easy to look at the choices you made in grade school and think, oh, they're grade school choices. High school is the first time that people are really going to look at, and not people, where you should, because people are probably always going to look at you and scrutinize what you do. But high school is the first time where you're really being held responsible for the choices you make. You know, when you do something in high school, when you choose to not do your homework, when you choose to cut school or do something bad, or when you choose to do something positive, when you decide that you want to join certain clubs and you want to have a positive impact. High school is really one of the first real times that people are going to look at you and say, that's a choice that you made, and I'm proud of you for making that choice. Or I'm ashamed of you for making that choice. So it becomes a great version of life. You know, one of your first versions of life. So I think that anime, a lot of the time it's set in high school because it's something that's very relatable to us. Oops. You know, but what I love about anime is that life upgrade, is that they take the high school setting, the high school aesthetic, and they turn it into something so much fun. You know, Initial D took the racing setting, and then they happened to be high school students, but we relate to that because it was the first time that we start. You know, when you're watching this racing setting, what they're doing at the same time is they're dealing with the idea of growing up and finding out who you are. And, you know, whether that's a race car driver or whether that's, you know, you find a trade that you like while you're in high school, you know, people will scrutinize you for it. They'll think of you a certain way for it. They'll want you to succeed or they'll want you to fail. You know, the losers will want you to fail, but, you know, that's what you got to deal with. But that's exactly the point. That's what you kind of have to deal with. You know, but then you have crazy shows like, there's a show called Girls und Panzer, which is the high school girls that are part of a club. It's a school club, but the club is battling tanks, battling like World War I and World War II era tanks. That to me is just hilarious. Like I think that that's such a great setting. But it's still, I don't know if I was supposed to do that or not, but it's still relatable because it's still high school. There's still the element of competition, you know, so it's always really interesting. And I think that's one of the things I love about anime is that they can try, damn it. I saw the screen shake, which usually means that the water's coming, but it didn't. So I thought maybe I was just making it up. You know, but in the end, the idea is that the lessons that you're going to learn are still relatable, but it's a crazy setting, and that just makes it more interesting. You know, that's why I never really got into... You know, it's funny. It's why I never really got into, like, things... It's very soap opera style things. But then at the same time, why I understand why other people do it. You know, there's those afternoon soap operas that people watch, and it's always the same thing. It's always a bunch of wealthy people doing weird wealthy things, and someone got, you know, someone was killed, but don't worry, their twin brother is back. But the twin brother had an operation, and now he has the brain of the original brother. Like, it's always these crazy settings. But in a lot of ways, that stuff, while that is probably not relatable to people, the idea of having friendships and feeling betrayed, and, you know, people who you thought were gone in your life come back, you know, those kinds of lessons are there. They're just wearing a very bizarre glossy coat. You know, people, and here's going to be a great one, and I think a lot of people are going to relate to this. If you watch those shows, if you've ever seen those soap operas, and you think this stuff is ridiculous, there's no way that this is genuinely happening to a bunch of people. But then, and I'm not attacking anybody here, let's be clear, because I used to watch it too. If you say those things and you watch wrestling is essentially a soap opera with a sporting event wrapped around it. If you're a wrestling fan and you talk about wrestling in depth, listen to yourself actually talk about it. And what you're describing is a soap opera, but in order to settle their conflicts, instead of slapping somebody or somebody got shot, who stabbed this person, instead of all of that, they have a very, very cool wrestling match. You know, they have a very cool setting. There's a lot of buildup, you know, and it's so much fun to watch. But it is essentially a soap opera that you're watching. Like I said, it just so happens that there is a sporting event mixed up in it. You know, we don't accept that from other sports, and I think it's because the other sports were kind of there first. You know, the wrestling that we have today, and I'm talking WWE and I don't know if they're still around, but ECW, TNT, I think TNT is one of them. That kind of wrestling has always, in my experience, has always been there with the drama. So it makes sense that it goes hand in hand. You know, if you tried to take one away from the other, I think you'd be left with a very boring product. Oh boy. Spark Salamander, let's... It's funny, when you shoot them with this... Whoa. When you shoot them with this gun, it always stops everything first in their tracks. And then they start moving again, it always kind of catches me by surprise. Okay, that wasn't much of anything. For some reason, I remember that being more difficult than it was. But yeah, to take... High speed tackle and oh, it's like a lunge. Yeah, I don't like weapons like that. You have a bunch of guns that shoot. There's no reason to put your vehicle and your character in danger by launching them somewhere. Here, let's when we get out of here, we'll see what it looks like. But yeah, when it comes to wrestling, you know, if you were to take any one of those elements away, what you'd be left with is essentially an inferior product. Here, let's... Where's that? Okay. Yeah. Hey, there you go. Get a good look. That's the first and last time you'll see it. But yeah, so I just... I don't know. I again, rambling on, but yeah, just, you know, it's a soap opera. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, is it real or fake? Oh, look, we're out of time. I'll talk to you guys next time.